What's happening? Welcome to the first instalment of What's in Store. So 2023 is promising to be a massive year for the Irish mixed martial arts scene. We've got lots of major promotions coming to Dublin, starting with Bellator 291, which is kicking off in just over a week here at the Three Arena in Dublin. I'm here at Fight Store HQ. I'm Paul Brown, and I'm joined today by Peter Queally and Sinead Kavanagh, who are going to be representing Ireland on the main card. Two of the stalwarts of the Irish mixed martial arts professional scene. Guys, how are we today?
Pretty well.
Yeah, well,
You and my buddy. Always good with
Looking
Sinead.
good.
suffering through camp, suffering through wake up. But as I was saying there, the Irish mixed martial arts scene is it's thriving really at the moment, isn't it? Like we've got this show, we've got Cage Warriors coming back to the Three Arena, PFL making their first outing in the Three Arena in December. The amateur scene is on fire at the moment. We've got some of the guys competing at the IMAFs over there, even just today and all this week in Serbia. It's really in a good place, isn't it?
Very good, yeah. As you said, the amateur scene is belting. It is. It's really good. It's good that it's come back to life. There's a few shows now all operating together. It's not just Cage Legacy holding down the fort like it was for many years. So there's good opportunities for the guys to fight, to grow, to get experience, and then hopefully jump onto the pro scene.
Yeah, and the women's scene in Ireland now is starting to flesh out a little bit as well, Sinead. I mean, it was just a couple of years there for a long time,
Yeah.
and yous have sort of, I mean, yourself and Leah are there in the top 10 in Bellator, and you know, really at the top of the game. And now we're seeing a lot of women starting to file into the amateur ranks. It's great to see, isn't it?
Oh, Delhi, like SBJ there with the girls down there, they're so talented, like, and like they're putting up to me and all. You know, it's great to see. It's great to see that you have different bodies now, and more women are joining the likes of Peter's down in Nice as well. Like it's great.
Yeah, and we're seeing like some of the crew there have gone into the pro ranks. Like you've got Danny and Shauna over in Invicta. Just today we had Lacey Houston, Ava Cruz, one or two others, names escaping me, competing on in the IMAF. So it really is good to see the scene filling out. But we're here to talk about a little bit about Bellator 291 that's going on next week. We're sort of we're at the time of filming, we're just over 10 days out, and preparations, camp, and all that stuff is kind of just drawn to a close. How is life when camp is at this point and the weight cut is a very near reality? How is overall life affected? But you're affected badly by the stresses and all that.
Yeah, just like someone could just say something and you give them that look, like just don't go there, you know. Just cut it.
Oh yeah, imagine so.
Honestly, I'm not too bad. I'm.
Yeah, you're coming in here smiling. We've been whinging for half an hour before you arrived.
I do a kind of a fairly substantial cut the last 3 days. That's when the fucking misery kicks in for me. But right now, to be honest, I'm eating as normal. If anything, it's a bit easier now. My training dips a bit for this week. And it's not as hard, kind of. So this is like a small little pleasure week for me. It's not too bad. And then once next week starts, then there's a few days of misery. But then we get on the scales and we're done.
Yeah. And do you have one final big spar, like a peak spar, like Sinead was saying she had hers today? So she's coming in a bit bruised and battered. But do you have something like that where you know like that's the peak point now and it's wind down time?
Yeah, I don't plan it though. I had a spar with Pedro last Tuesday that went very well.
Yeah.
And I was actually planning on doing it today, but I scrapped it because I was like, that's a nice feeling now. That one went well. I think it's always nice to end on a spar that goes well and not do another one that maybe you bang your foot or you do something else because the gains are going to make out of this last spar is minuscule. It's anxiety training more than anything. You're just doing it for the head more than that. So instead of that, I just go in and rip the roar out of it or rip the skier out of it, and that kind of satisfies my mind. You know,
on a bad spar, you'll be thinking about that when you're warming up for the fight. You're like,
exactly.
Oh, that time. What?
Yeah. Whereas when you finish off on one where you were crisp and nice and it went well, this is a nice feeling to bring into fight week then. So I'm done. I'm not going to spar again.
Yeah. It's nice now that just this little wind down period before the grind of the weight cut kicks off. It's downtime and just let the body recharge a little bit. Yeah.
Let the calm before the storm.
Yeah, like there's nothing you're going to gain in this week. This is what you kind of realise when you get a bit more experience. Sinead will tell you the same, I'm sure. Is that like the work is done over the last 15 years. And if your skills are good enough, they're good enough. You're not going to improve them now over this next 10 days. If anything, you'll dull yourself a bit. You might get an injury or overtrain a bit or whatever it is, especially if your calories are a bit lower. All these things have more of a chance of happening.
I like to just do like some techniques now, just to see what the fight will go. Maybe you
specific
will go
work
that
for
way.
the fight,
Exactly,
like,
and just go over them and leave it at that. 40 minutes, it's done. Everything's done.
Yeah, if you are going to do something hard, I do it in a very safe setting, like say the skier or the rower or the prowler, something I know I'm not going to get injured, but I'm going to rev the engine like crazy, but it's not going to hurt me or anything.
Yeah, there's no impact involved, and the margin for error there, the risk factor is much lower.
You see fighters and you'll be hearing that they got concussion, like
a week out, like, what are you doing, you fool? Like,
on fight week. So many fights pulled.
That's pure anxiety. That's just, oh my god, I have to train, I have to spar. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. I did it myself.
No,
you know what I mean? Punching the head of each other 3 days out. I remember one time I sparred the morning of a fight.
Oh my god.
I swear, now it was a light spar, of course, but I still had to go in and move. It's so stupid. But I still had to go in and move around a bit. It was poor Dylan Logan at the time. He was just being a punching bag for me, kicking him around the ring. Yeah. Like that was it was my third fight, I guess, or something like this, very early, and that was just pure my mind. I just had to
overthinking it and anxious. Yeah, I suppose we had.
At least I wasn't that stupid.
That's a serious risk for the people who are paying out the wages. If they see something like that, they're probably like, "Oh, fuck, you're paying the insurance."
It was more of a risk for poor Dylan. I'll tell you that.
Like you'll have that, but that's inexperience speaking there, isn't it? It's like, you guys are both around the scene a long time, so you know how to manage your body and how to manage your preparation. Sinead was saying to me there before he arrived that she's, she just has all this routine down to a T and this kind of thing. So over the years, you just garnered that little bit more experience every time, and I know how to peak. I know how that I'm going to perform my best, and I know exactly, like you said, what not to fucking do, because you did it wrong and you learned the hard way.
And there's probably no set system for that. There's no wrong way. There's just different ways. Like, she probably do it a bit different than I do. I'll do it a bit different to the next person. But you develop some data over the years, and you develop that system, as you said.
Yeah, and then managing the likes of injuries. Both of you guys have had injuries. Sinead, the last fight, look, you probably talked your arse off on various interviews and podcasts about the whole thing. But for anyone who's watching that doesn't really know the crack, you had a serious knee injury coming out of that last fight, going through the majority of the fight as well, because it happened quite early, and you had to take a substantial amount of time off. Getting back to training, and we were talking about this earlier, it's hard to psychologically fully commit, isn't it, to training for a while, and then but you've had quite a time there to adapt to that and then become more comfortable in the training room.
It was a serious injury. I was like torn ACL, MCL, a few screws in my knee. So it was, the recovery was long and mentally challenging. So when I went back training, it was I was thinking of, watch my knee, don't touch my knee, and then it was just a warm up, and then I had to go into rounds. Then I'll do 1 round, 2 rounds. So then when I just got used to it again and kind of forgot about it, because I did get taken down. I was like, oh, okay, that feels okay. I was wrestling, and then things like that, where I just forgot about it, because I have to, I have to forget about it.
Trying to get someone off your back, and
I'm going to go down anyway, you know. So.
Yeah, it does. It's a bit difficult psychological block, but once you sort of start getting through it repeatedly, it's going to be more comfortable, isn't it? In the long run, it is.
It's more of a mental injury than at the end. Like, it was like.
That's the hardest hurdle to overcome once you've healed it up a bit. I remember, Peter, the fight before Benson Henderson. Was it? I don't know if it was the Benson Henderson fight you had to pull out of originally, or was it another one with an elbow or shoulder? Was it?
Shoulder. No, I pulled out of the one before Benson because I broke my rib. But then I got a big shoulder surgery.
That's right, because I remember seeing you with a sling on.
Years. So
what was the surgery you had?
I had a torn labrum in my right shoulder, and I had a bicep tendinosis, is what they call it. They cut off your bicep, it connects into your shoulder, and they drill it back into your arm bone. So they kind of reattach it in stronger into your arm bone, because it's going to eventually snap. It's getting worn down. So I had 2 surgeries actually, so they're fairly significant.
I've been there on similar shoulder injury, and I know it's not an injury that heals up in a rush.
No,
it doesn't heal up quick.
No, it's only around now, to be honest, I'm starting to feel
And I remember watching
Yeah,
the
it was like, I know.
I remember the Benson Henderson fight came around, and I would
It was
have known
probably
you.
too soon, to be honest.
This is what I was going to say. My
You know.
gut feeling at the time watching it, and I not having ever spoken to you at that stage, was like, this was probably too good an opportunity for him to turn down. But he can't be right going into a camp, or maybe even going into that fight. He can't be anywhere near 100% with that injury.
Well, put it this way. I had that surgery in March. Then I had to go back in July and get the bicep redone. So I had two. So the fight was in September.
Yeah, it was a quick turnaround.
So
I remember,
I wasn't right, but whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just have to try your best and get on with it.
We were talking, I was doing my rehab, and you were like,
Oh man, two of us. I'm fighting a month. I'm like, on the bands here, like not even training. She'll tell you. Yeah. I didn't train at all for that. I barely trained.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, of course, I'm not gonna. I hate now because I kind of am making an excuse.
I know
now,
it.
but I never said that after because I got
Yeah.
in. I thought I could win. Did
Yeah.
my best. But you know, I'm looking forward to now of actually being healthy and putting in a good performance. And you know, I'm still proud of how I did. I went 25 minutes with him and whatever.
Yeah,
Didn't go great, but I tried my best.
I
You know what
thought in my head at the time that it was very much like the TJ Dillashaw title fight thing. It's like the little part of your fucking fighter ego mind is just like, I could still catch that fucker.
Yeah,
I could still do
thought,
this.
yeah,
You know, and if you don't have that, like,
yeah.
you're probably, you know, that's a part of you that as a fighter that you need if you're going to excel.
Yeah.
You need to have that ego, that attitude, that like, I could still fucking do it even on one leg. I could still take it.
There's that for sure, and then also there's just a lot of money has been put into this fight, and you have to do it now.
You
You
don't
can't.
let anyone down.
Of course,
you
you
know,
can't.
Yeah.
Bellator has been so good to me. You can't. Yeah, exactly.
It's just something, and it's more like you, like a warrior in you. You're like, do you know what?
Yeah,
fuck it, I'm doing it.
When you say you're going to do something,
Yeah,
you
you're
should
gonna
do
do
it.
it.
That's
Yeah.
my motto, kind of. So it's like, you know, but I try my best. Whatever. I don't have any regrets from it. Tried my best. Wasn't good enough. Move on. That's it. I'm healthy now. All good.
No, it's good to see, and it's going to be good to be back now. You have a nice challenging fight on your hands now in 10 days in the Tree Arena.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a nice stylistic matchup. He likes to kind of get in and fight you. Bryce does. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good scrap while it lasts.
Yeah. Now, Sinead, yours is a bit of a revenge mission, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. Some cowboy cut man let me down last time.
I just watched it back today. I hadn't seen it since when it was actually on.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll watch that back just to see the details.
It wasn't a deep cut. It was like a graze. Like the minute I went backstage, the cut was stopped. The cut man got sacked. You know, it was ridiculous. Like so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. Like, you know, she was going around. Oh, I wanna like. It should have been done. We should have fought again then before.
Immediately, like.
Yeah, I think so. So, I think I've my skill set is better than hers, and I think I can do this. You know.
Yeah. Would the plan be similar to just get in her face and just smother her and smash? And
I think I went trying to knock her out last time, and I fell in and she caught me with an elbow. So I have 15 minutes. That's sometimes I think I need to do more sometimes in the fight because to please the crowd. Like you know, I want to be entertaining, and I want to like give them that money's worth. Like and. I have 15 minutes. I could take me time and pick her off and then look for me shot. Like that's what I should be doing. Now if that goes ahead,
what you have done has stood you well though.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's important too.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fighting in a way that fans like is really what keeps you in big shows and gets you bigger
on
checks
cards,
and different things. So
on
so
the main
it's
cards
not a bad,
and stuff.
you know.
Yeah. And I do love the fight, and that's it. I love a brawl. I love getting stuck in and blood, guts, and you know, grinding the teeth.
Yeah. So we'll be sitting there in 10 days, and you'll just be right in her face throwing bombs anyway.
Exactly,
You know, everything you just said would be just a distant memory. Yeah, blood all over the cage. The last one was an absolute fucking barn burner. I mean, you have to probably talk to death about it, but. Does it make it easier? Like you come out of it, and then you have a substantial amount of time off as a result. But having got the respect and the recognition for such a massive fight, does that make having to take that extra time off a little bit easier? Go right, well, it was worth it for that memory, that moment. We did something special.
I
there.
think like people are going to be talking about that fight for a long time. Like you know, the way I won it, because I was meant to be just this boxer, like you know, and I just never never got stuck in the ground in a fight, but I do jiu-jitsu every day of the week, and I love it. And they had to take my leg away to show that I actually am skillful, like in doing the wrestling and the jits, like. And it was I think the momentum when I won that fight, I could have like being back up there
capitalized
again.
on it a bit.
Yeah, I think I was then put back to the start and the grind with the back grinding again, you know. But like people when I walk out on the 25th will remember that night, and I'll probably have more fans that didn't know me,
without a doubt. Yeah.
So I reckon I get more cheers, and people remember me from.
Do we know roughly where you guys are on the card? We were saying earlier the running order can be a bit sometimes with Bellator. It can chop and change in the week running up to the fight.
I believe it's Amasov and Storley, obviously main event. It's Pedro and Kennedy coming.
Fight, yeah.
I'm third. I think you're fourth, and I think Kieran Clark is fifth.
Oh, that's a good main card, isn't it?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. We give or take, it'll be in and around there.
Yeah.
We'll have a quick nosy through the card. I have it here. We looked at this card earlier, and there's 20 fights on this one. So this is quite. It's going to be you're going to be an endurance test for some of the drinkers. So you're going to have to pick your fights to go for your way.
I was saying this. I like my last few. I've been at the end of the card for all of them, but the best night I had in the Tree Arena, I was third from the top, and it's because it's peak drunkenness. I think for people, they're not too wasted where they can't even. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think at that stage they're so riled up, they're perfectly drunk, and they can sing the best then. Yeah. But I think when it gets after that, it's almost like on a downhill. It gets to like I don't think I fought till like midnight against Spain. It was something like that. I think it was about 11:45.
Yeah, it was late as shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very late. I remember my dad even trying to rush off because the car parks were closed after the thing. It was that's like 1 a.m. or something. So it's mad late. So I'm actually looking forward to fighting a little bit earlier on this weekend, to be honest.
Yeah, less waiting around and all that. You know, it's quite a stacked card. Like I was saying, we've got Stephen Hill, Joel Kawaja kicking off, Azil Ajuj. Train with you guys now. A very interesting fighter, a real good striker. He's early on the card. He's up against Liam McCracken, who's 3-0. So it's a decent standard of a fight for both guys.
I was asked this before. Who's the guy? Who's the new guy? And it's him. It's by far and away it's him. Yeah. He's probably the best young guy I've ever seen. Wow. I would say maybe there's one or two that could be on par with him. But he's right there as the best talent I've ever seen. Right, yeah, he's an exceptional striker. He's 4-1 so far. And the one he lost.
He came into John's and his striking was top, but his jits and stuff but he's never he's up here now. He's great,
The one he lost was just a bit of arrogance on everyone's side, throwing him in with your man
Constantine, teammate of mine.
Good tough guy. Yeah. And Assail had barely been training. Honestly, he had amazing striking because he had that coming to us anyway, but he'd never grappled. Yeah. And I think it was just a little bit.
Yeah, Constantine is not the guy you want grabbing hold of you when
he fought a great fight. Exactly, he fought a brilliant fight. But that was a good wake up call for him. But that's 4 years ago now.
Yeah, he got stuck in.
You know, his grappling is very good now.
Yeah, I'm excited to see now how he's looking now come next week. Raphael Hudson and Hassan Magomed Sharapov. I did well there, didn't I? I got that one out.
That one right.
Didn't even have to slow it down.
The tongue twister, that one.
Dara Kelly. Dara Kelly's on the card. He's got a good fight against Dorval Jordan. So Dara
is 66 for this fight.
66.
I don't know how he's making.
I think he's still bigger than me, even though he's fighting at 66.
Yeah, he's some physique on him, doesn't he? He's a gorilla.
I personally think he will reconsider this. It's just there's no point. Like he's so big as a lightweight anyway. Yeah. It's like he's one of the biggest lightweights I've ever seen. So
going through severe hardship to make
I'm
featherweight,
sure this is tough for him. It can't not be, you know.
How old is Dara? Is he young?
I don't know. He's young. I'd say he's mid-20s. Something like that. Maybe he's younger.
So that might get a bit trickier to navigate going forward anyway, because that just happens with age.
Maybe I'm sure he'll do it okay. He's very professional, and he's like, there's a reason he's in the shape he's in. He probably watches what he eats year round and all that kind of stuff. But I just didn't see a need for him. He's already enormous at lightweight.
And he's
and he's brilliant as well.
Might even perform better then at the slightly higher weight category as well.
Who knows? Maybe I'll be totally wrong.
Yeah,
exactly.
But look, you've been around.
I think he'll do well anyway. Whatever, he's very disciplined, and he'll do well whatever weight class.
You've been around a while, and you sort of have a half an idea about the old cage fighting and the things that go. You know, you've learned one or two things in your time. Lucy Berthaud and Sabri Sungul. I'm doing okay with these names.
Yeah.
Oleg Popov, Gokhan Sarakam, Elena Okay, I'm giving up now. Well, she's fighting Jenna Bishop. A lot of that early part of the card, there's not a lot there that's going to interest a lot of the Irish fans, because some of those fighters are coming from all sorts of different places. But it gets a bit spicy after that. Norbert Navenyi, who's a really promising prospect, he beat Will Fleury, of course.
Yeah.
He's 5-0, and he's got a Jesus, his hands full there. Andy Manzolo.
He's
Andy
been
Manzolo's
2 years.
26 and 9.
ACL,
That's
so-
right, he did.
Did he?
Yeah.
He's very good. This Norbert.
Yeah,
I was very
yeah.
impressed with him.
Well,
against
anyone
Will.
who gets by Will Fleury, like, is going to be, one to watch at that
And he
weight
looks
class.
like jacked as well, really good athlete as well. This matters, when you get to the higher level. I think it's important.
Be interesting to see what he's like now after 2 years out. If he's still the same, sometimes it can take a bit of time to get back into your stride. We've some of the bigger names on the Irish scene then taking up the rest of the card.
I'm
Charlie
looking forward to
Ward
this
is back
one.
again.
Yeah.
Charlie Ward just
Charles.
you can't just get him out of that cage. He's Charlie.
Do you know what? He didn't get enough credit for his last one, I thought.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They acted like some of the commentators, like they kind of acted like Fabian just murdered him. That was like pretty close.
Yeah.
You could argue Charlie won a round or two there. Like it was,
yeah.
And then even at the end, Fabian, I like Fabian, he's brilliant, but he was not hanging on, but he didn't want to fight
hilarious
anymore.
though.
Yeah, it was so funny.
Charlie just in his
Yeah.
face, and you could hear every word of it on the stream.
I was in Milan.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Number 2 in the world.
Number 2 in the world. You're shy. That was class. Yeah.
Come on, finish me. You can't.
He's a gas man. He just loves a knock, doesn't he?
Oh,
I was
Yeah.
so disappointed when he gave me out in the cage. I gave him a big hug.
Yeah. Well, Jesus, that's some pinnacle to get to, like to fight for a contender's fight, basically in your weight class at 42 years of
He's
age.
42 as well. Yeah, I was literally going to say that. It's like
And he looked in phenomenal shape in
that
his
was the
last
best
fight.
shape I've seen him. I think.
Yeah.
Perhaps he looked fucking strong. He did real lean.
Yeah, so there's a
obviously taking
case
it
for
very
saying that
seriously.
he's probably you could rank him in the top 3, the top 5. I don't know where he is in the rankings, but he's in and around that level now in Bellator.
Well, there you go. He took number 2 to the wire.
Yeah.
So
I think he's 7-2 in Bellator. That's a fucking
serious
phenomenal
record,
run.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And he gets hard fights too. He's had a few
Oh, he
hard
does.
ones.
yeah.
No,
That'll
you're,
be
you're not getting through Charlie easy. No matter
no.
who you are.
If you do get your hand raised in this one,
Yeah,
Mike
you've
Shipman,
earned it,
you'll be doing well. Mike Shipman's no easy opponent now,
No,
but
that's a hard one as well.
yeah, it's going to be an
fair.
interesting one. Richie Smullen's back, first fight in a year. He's been obviously busy making chicken fingers, but he's back now, and he's back with a bang. He's been in Bellator before, but then he was off, and he won a couple of titles. Wasn't it in Russia or somewhere like
Ukraine.
that? Ukraine. Yeah, he won 2 different weight classes, am I right?
Yeah, he did. He fought featherweight and lightweight.
Yeah.
And got 2 titles over there. I think he fought 3 or 4 times or something like that over there. Something like that. Yeah, he stayed busy over there.
Yeah, he's back now with Bellator. He's a handful, and he's a dangerous man, isn't he?
He's some wrestler, isn't he? He's just so
Yeah,
strong. He's just like,
yeah.
just like a.
He's probably the best
sand on
grappler
you,
in the
like,
gym.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
would say.
Can't
When
budge
he
him.
gets his game going, it's like it's horrific, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I think this guy. I know a bit about this guy because he fought Pedro, and he fought Luka Jelcik back in the day. Back in that what was that show called? It was a one and done kind of show in Ireland. I can't remember what it's called, but Luka fought him as well. You'd probably find it there actually when he fought Luka.
Yeah, he's a 17-4 record, so he ain't no joke. Let me just scroll up a little bit here on his Tapology record.
You'll see it was a loss. Luka beat him, so just going
Quite
to
a
the
while
rounds.
back. Yeah, he's been
Looking from the
busy.
gym, is it?
Yeah, remember
Oh,
Luka?
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
he fought him.
Luka. Jeez, it must be a while ago. There
There
it
you
is.
go.
There, yeah. Total Extreme Fighting
Total
Championship,
Extreme Fighting Championship.
2016.
So Luka took him down and just buzzsawed through him. Now Luka's a very good grappler,
Yeah.
but Smullen is also a very good grappler. So
Yeah.
that's what I expect. I expect to get the takedown and he'll just buzzsaw through him. I
He
think.
might have the
think
style
so.
to beat him.
Yeah, I
Your
think so,
man's
yeah.
on a serious win streak there.
Yeah,
We're looking
he
at his
did, yeah.
Tapology record there. There's a lot of greens.
And beating Pedro is a heavy task as well.
Yes.
It was a very close fight. I think it was a 5-rounder. Pedro would have stopped him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a 5-rounder. And that's you fight to the rounds you're given. So
Absolutely, yeah. Pedro is no easy night out for anyone, and we'll see that now next week again. He's in a really, really good fight, like you said, in the co-main. Brian Moore is on the card, and he doesn't have the fight he wanted. He doesn't have Higo, but he has a decent challenge in front of him, Luca Iovine, and he's Brian for me now in that last card in Dublin. He was, aside from your own fight, he was probably the standout performer of the night. I thought his striking performance in that bout was just
I love watching.
mesmerising.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was
love
striking
watching him
perfection.
So do I, yeah.
He's amazing. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, he's so entertaining. His boxing is crisp.
Yeah.
And I don't think he gives himself enough credit.
No.
He's good. He's a good
Yeah.
lad.
Yeah.
What Brian needs now is just a kind of a marquee win.
Yeah.
He needs a kind of a name, and he'd be phew.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't really got that guy yet.
Yeah.
I feel, and that's why he wanted. Higo would have been a nice. He would have beat Higo pretty easy, I think. To be honest, I think stylistically it was a nice one for him. But I think this one now, and then a top 10 guy again.
Yeah,
but
he's very
fine, but-
sharp, and he's
Yeah.
he's just a fucking technician on the feet.
Yeah.
The angles he cuts,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it's beautiful to watch.
He's really nice to watch.
He
Yeah,
is,
he's
yeah.
great. isn't he?
Yeah, and it was nice to see him get that massive performance the last time, and get that pump from the crowd, and really get that reception in Dublin, because he missed a few of the Dublin cards, didn't he? And they were sending him off abroad to
He
fight in
had
weird
problems
places.
with his- yeah, and he
Yeah.
had problems with his hands there for a while. He broke his hands a few
That's
times.
right, yeah,
so he
yeah,
missed
yeah.
a few things
Both
with
of them,
that,
yeah.
so-
Both of them in the fight.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Mm.
But he's
He was-
flying
yeah.
now. He's had a good run of training now the last few years, no injuries, and you can see it in his performances. Even that one he lost against your man Lugo or whatever.
Yeah, and it was a great fight.
You could have given it to him.
Yeah,
No one would
absolutely.
have argued with you if
Yeah,
you
did
gave it to
that go
Brian.
to a split?
I don't remember, but I just remember it being any. I remember at
very
the end of it
close.
going, I don't know, either of these could win this
Yeah.
now, and it'd be okay whichever one wins.
And it was a
but that's
belter
how
of a
I thought.
fight.
Very good fight.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Is that when
very good.
he had the rear naked at the end, was it?
No, that was your man, a Russian guy.
All right, yeah.
it
Because
was
I
the
didn't
one
think
in
he
Dublin.
didn't show up in that fight.
No, he was bad in that one.
Yeah, he didn't show
was,
up, and I
yeah,
was
yeah,
wondering, like,
yeah.
what's wrong with
Yeah,
Brian?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you
It
have
was the
them
one
nights,
after
don't
that,
you?
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Jordan Lugo, yeah. That's the decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very close, and he's a top 10 guy.
Oh, yeah,
Very
yeah,
good
yeah,
guy,
absolutely.
so, yeah.
Yeah, well, we can see, like, Brian's been around a long time. He's put more mileage in on the scene
Yeah.
than most people.
Like in
Like,
Nissan.
yeah.
I was just saying it to, I can't remember who I was saying that. We're all that's left. Me, Brian, and Sinead, really.
Yeah.
Of the really old crew.
yeah,
That's it. And Connor as well, of course. But, you
Yeah.
know, all the rest have kind of
yeah.
gone on
Yeah.
their way, more
The
or less. you
life
know, it's-
cycle has just sort of
Yeah,
carried
yeah,
a few
yeah.
away and into other avenues and
Mhm.
whatnot. But yeah, Brian, like just like yourselves, he's still in there, still doing it,
Yeah.
and still getting this opportunity now to fight in front of the Irish fans now next week, which
And he's
is
not
really
slowing
deserving.
down, He's good, you know.
He looks like he's
is-
improving a
yeah,
lot,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
exactly,
he's-
yeah. Well, see, even his spars are like fights, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're entertaining to watch.
deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say that's one of the fights I am looking forward to most. Carl Moore is back. He's on there. He's got his hands full again. This guy isn't ranked,
Mm.
but this
he's
guy,
good.
this guy is
He's
really
good,
good.
yeah.
And after him beating a ranked opponent the last time, I would have thought they'd be like trying to push him into the top 5.
Yeah.
No,
I've seen
yeah.
a lot of stuff on that, like that they were saying, why isn't he fighting?
Yeah, because then he beats this guy. It's an unranked opponent. It doesn't really do much for you in a ranking sense. Whereas,
Only for him, though. Well,
yeah,
like,
this guy's probably better than some of the guys in the rankings anyway. So
Yeah,
it's
I would
like,
agree with that. He's actually very good, that guy.
yeah, so it's a
Um,
tough one. But he did a great win the last day, didn't he?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Carl.
Unreal. I feel like he wasn't perhaps supposed to win that one. It was one of those ones you felt. Do you know what I mean? You get this feeling sometimes.
Yeah.
And he fucking
Yeah.
stuck it to them, you know.
Yeah,
so
and
it's
it
always
wasn't
great when
going
it-
his way for a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
while.
yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
I remember at the end he got an elbow or something, and it just went
Yeah.
dropped like,
Yeah.
and then I was just like,
He's
But
a
yeah,
stone
he
cold
got
killer.
it back, yeah.
Yeah, he's deadly, Carl.
Yeah.
He's training very hard as well. I see him in the gym there every evening,
Yeah,
busting his bollocks. So but I agree with you. It would have been great if he got a big name. I know he was campaigning for the Yole one. That was probably a bit too.
Yeah.
Aiming a bit too.
Bit of
high
a jump,
maybe, but
bit of a jump.
Yeah, but like someone in the top 10 at least to
Yeah.
build on that momentum now. Because this one, like you said, this guy is as hard as any of them in the top 10 or harder. I think. But anyway, Bellator will know that as well, so that'll propel him forward as well.
that's
so
true.
it's,
Yeah,
you know,
it
it's-
might stand to him anyway
yeah.
once he gets his hands raised
Yeah.
here. You know,
He's
it is a
lad,
big one.
isn't he? He's
Yeah.
he's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of work. It looks like with Johnny Walker and Will.
Will,
Yeah.
There's actually
And Will's going up, isn't he, as well, weight wise?
light heavyweight
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well, and he's bigger these days
Yeah.
as well. So it's and for a long time SPG we had no big guys really. So now
No.
we've
It's
got
usually
quite a
the
few
case
big
in
guys
most
now.
gyms, yeah.
But
Yeah.
now we've got like the 3 boys,
Yeah.
and there's always a few. There's that Brazilian lad that hangs around with Johnny. What's in that big fella?
Yeah, I don't know him.
I
I
think
don't
he's-
know his name, but I don't
Yeah, you know the guy I'm on, but he's very big as well. There's
Right.
about 4 or
The few
5 of them
dropping
now.
them
Yeah.
in, dropping in, isn't that
Yeah.
SPG? Like,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good then for them to find
Thomas
other
Carter
fighters
comes
that
in
are at.
boxing and things then as well.
Oh, lovely.
So
Yeah.
there's actually a big guy scene.
Having
there.
other guys, big guys
Yeah.
at a good level
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
So not
yeah.
just like some useless lump that's
Yeah.
coming in to
Yeah.
be a punch back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Need
We're
someone
all
coming in and
top
testing
level
you
guys, yeah.
And they're all competing at a high level
Yeah.
too, so
Yeah,
it's definitely good. You know, that's important though, isn't it? Having training partners that are similar weight classes but can sort of match your level a little bit as well. It's important to have that, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
Oh yeah, you can have a great coach and that's great, but really you need the great training partners, and if you don't have them, you won't be getting tested, you won't be getting pushed on, you won't be getting forced to get better.
Like
So
I
you
wasn't
need them, you know.
with the women in SBJ. They were very life of me. But now Lucy's here, like, and she's
Right.
pushing me to the blink. Like,
Yeah, you were saying you're a real good spar with her today.
yeah, she knocking the head off me like last week, you know, and then this week I'm giving it to her. So yeah, it's always touch and go. And she's an absolute beast.
Deadly. So you get that more specific feel for your weight class and your level rather than
and the strength and stuff, you know, because like women do train and fight different than men, and if it just feels different when you're in there with a guy sparring, when it's different when you're with a woman, like, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, oh Jesus, yeah, the carryover is going to be great, you know. Who would be your main couple of sparring partners?
Pedro, Daniele Scatizzi, I do
Right.
quite a sale.
Yeah.
Those three probably. I probably do the most. Pedro I probably do the most with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Pedro are good. I like Pedro. He's like, just fucking comes at you, doesn't he?
He just
like,
wants it, yeah.
pedal to the metal. It's
been
a
like
good
that.
cardio workout for the.
I remember judging one of his fights, and it was a Cage Legacy one. Who was it? It was a banger. It was in Drogheda.
Oh yeah, some
Was
Russian
it a
dude.
5-rounder or something?
Yeah.
And it was
It was
just
just back and
bedlam,
forth, yeah.
like, yeah,
That's
yeah.
him. He often loses the first round, Pedro.
Yeah.
But then good luck for the next two rounds.
Yeah.
Just, doesn't he? Just drowns.
Gets
Guys
up
are
ahead
just
of
begging
steam.
to get out of there in the
Yeah.
third round, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah, he's a fascinating guy to watch. He just
Yeah.
brings it.
Yeah.
And that win, did he beat Mads Burnell, didn't he?
In the last one.
Yeah.
That
And
was
he,
a
he
big-
wasn't
that was a-
expected to.
No, he
He's
was
got
not.
good
Yeah.
combinations. He does. he
Yeah.
His combinations are.
And it's the
really
mentality,
good,
just
yeah.
the forward
Just keeps
pressure just
going,
keeps
yeah,
on
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Like it just breaks guys.
Like the Mads Burnell one was a surprise, because I remember even saying it to a couple of people, going, "Watch this Burnell fella, he's great to watch. He's a really good grappler.
Oh, yeah.
Watch this."
Yeah.
And then
And you're right, he does.
one round in, and he was like blowed his wad, just
He
trying
did
to
well
get
in
the
the
hold of
first
Pedro.
round, but then
Yeah.
got
Pedro
poked
just
on
stayed
him
in there and then
yeah.
just
No, he did,
lit him
yeah.
up. It was brilliant, yeah.
And you
Yeah.
could see Burnell. I was like, oh my god, like this motherfucker just won't stop. It's like, it's a tough style he has.
Yeah.
And again, this style will be good for his opponent this time. This guy is kind of a grinder guy.
Yeah.
I feel. And I'd expect this guy to win the first round against Pedro, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then I expect it to start changing dramatically 2 minutes into the second round and then put a beating on him. That's kind of how I see that
Pedro's
one going.
pace just doesn't
Yeah,
slow, yeah.
yeah.
Well, Kennedy's around a while, and he's fought in the UFC, he's fought in PFL, Bellator, he's been around a lot of the major promotions. His UFC stint was an interesting one. I don't know specifically why he was let go. He won his first 3 fights against good guys, lost to Alexander Volkanovski in 2018, and then they let him go. So he was 3-1.
I
So
saw that, yeah.
maybe there was issues
Perhaps-
with pay and disputes, and
Yeah,
who knows,
perhaps got a better
contractual stuff.
offer.
Yeah.
And that was it, maybe.
Yeah.
Something as simple as that.
But he's been around, and
Yeah.
he's a very experienced fighter, a really good test for Pedro.
Yeah, and he's got like a real grindy grappling style, which can sometimes be hard when a guy doesn't take that many chances. Like Benson against me. Benson, went to take me down the first round, and I actually countered him twice. And then he was so smart, he stopped then. He just started holding me on the fence.
Yeah.
And then, it's hard to...
Don't expend that energy when you don't
exactly.
need
And it's
it.
hard to counter a guy when he's not attacking much. And this is kind of what Kennedy does, I feel. He holds you well, stays busy, doesn't give you too many options to counter him. So it's a tough style sometimes, that, but if anyone can beat that, it's Pedro, with the cardio and the intensity, and I think he'll wear him out and get him tired and
Yeah.
put it on him.
Yeah, big time. It's going to be a barn burner,
Yeah.
I think, Kieran Clark, we were saying, is on the main card as well, and Kieran just brings a crew with him, doesn't he? Every time you can hear them. Yeah, half a draw is in the Tree
I think
Arena.
he physically sells about 600 tickets.
Yeah.
Seriously, it is, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It feels like that,
Yeah, yeah.
Every time he fights there, and they have him on every time because they know
Yeah.
they're like, this motherfucker's going to
Yeah.
bring a crew down to the Tree
Yeah.
Arena. So,
Yeah.
and,
And his fights are great crack as well, because he kind of has that Rocky thing where he gets
Yeah.
knocked and he's coming. Every fight seems to be the same.
gets clipped and then just
Yeah.
comes back and
Yeah.
then gets bloodied up a little
Yeah,
bit, but still wins.
But
still
manages
comes
to
out of
get
the
his
bag.
hand raised
Yeah.
Yeah,
every
it's
time,
mad.
doesn't he?
His record is what now, 6-0. Yeah, so
he's
he's
quietly amassing a big record there.
that's
He's
gonna
another
be,
guy I'd like to see fight a top 10 guy now.
Yeah,
I think
me
he's earned
too.
it. Yeah, I thought he'd get it this time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Deserves it. Like,
does,
he
yeah.
yeah,
And he'd be
definitely
well able to
racking
beat
up the
them.
W's.
Like,
Yeah.
and like we said like it's like Rocky, like he gets a bang,
Yeah.
he's down, he's up,
Yeah,
he's down again.
Which
That's
are watching
amazing,
and
yeah.
you're on
The
the edge of your
crowd is
seat
just
I
like-
know,
watching
I'm
it.
like, his fights, I'm always like still in the hotel room. I haven't gone to, and I'm watching. I'm like, I'm getting stressed. I'm sweating. Do you know what I mean? Isn't that? Do you know the feeling yourself?
Yeah, The main event's a funny one for me, Amislov and Storley. It's a really, really high-level fight. But I don't really get why it's on this card and
I
where
agree.
it is.
In a way, kind of like it's. I think it's the best fight Bellator perhaps have.
Yeah, as in
But
level of fight and
yes,
standard, and
yes.
yeah, two really good guys.
Yeah, it's but perhaps putting Yoel or someone and Nemkov on this card would have been better, and put the boys on America, or who knows now, I don't know, but I feel like that's
they're not going to be well-known fighters in the casual sphere over here, whereas there'll be a lot of casual MMA fans will go to this because it's a Bellator show, and you know there'll be a big pop for the Irish fighters. I have a feeling when the main event is on, the arena might not be as thriving as it will be when you guys are on, or when some of the Irish fighters are on earlier.
Which is a shame, because they're both bloody. I would fancy both of them to beat Leon Edwards personally. Right. That's how highly I rate both of them.
Okay.
So it's just such a shame if people don't get excited about that fight. But I think they're two of the best welterweights around. You know, I would definitely bet on both of them to beat Leon, and Leon's amazing. But it's just they're bloody animals. They're so good. And the only loss Storley has is actually against Amasov. Right. It was a split decision. Yeah. I actually thought Storley possibly won. So another revenge mission. Yeah. There's a few of them happening on the card this week. Yeah. But if you're into grappling, you're going to have some time in that fight. The two of them are just... Yeah. And I've seen Amasov is actually in our gym now at the moment. Yeah. Okay. I've seen him grapple against some very good guys, and it's quite incredible how good he is. Right. So, you know, that's one to be excited about. If you're not excited about it because they don't have the name value of a Yoel or a Benson or whatever it is, there you go. Put that aside and get excited about it. Peter's giving the main event the big sell now, so a lot more people might tune into it after hearing that. The title picture in your weight class, how do you see it all? How do you see the landscape of that division the way it is right now? I know there's a few matches made there. I mean, Leah has a big match against Kat Zingano, doesn't she? And Cyborg, she's doing boxing now. Yeah. So she's holding the belt. Yeah. Wish she would back off of it. You know? You know, just leave it. I think maybe the winner of Kat. I know Cyborg wants to fight Kat. She's saying Kat's ducking her and stuff, all this but then Kat was saying she wants Cyborg to get tested before she fights her, you know. Yeah. So there's a bit of poker going on here. Who's going to blink first? So with the winner of that might be with Leah, and Kat might fight Cyborg, you know, next. But yeah, I want to be up there. I want to get back up there, you know. I want, I know it was a short and sweet, but I made a mistake, and I want to redeem. Flash knockout things happen, you know. When how do you see Leah and Kat going? I think I think it's gonna be at this ground. Really. And who'll win it? I don't know. I think because Kat, even though she's amazing, you know, but she has dropped a little bit, you know, but she has good takedowns and stuff. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting one. Another one that's around the block quite a long time as well. Still going strong. Where do you see yourself next when you get your hand raised next week? What's the next step then? After going away on holiday for summer, bit of sunshine. Valentine's Day is delayed. It's Valentine's Day here when we're filming, and it's just not happening in the middle of camp. So, it's gonna be. I'd like another fight anyway before the Cyborg. Yeah, definitely. Another revenge mission. Yeah, you owe a few people. You owe a few people. You owe a few smacks. I had Leslie that I should have won. Should have won, yep. Arlene, that it was close, but look, it could have gone either way. The Leslie one in particular now must have been hard to take. It was I was I literally had tears in my eyes at the end. I was just thinking, how does that happen? That was a bit fucky for me now, you know. And I was on a losing streak anyway, and I was just thinking, I needed that. You know, man. I needed that win. That's just bad judging. Someone attributing way too much for the person going forward. Yeah. But she was getting the head jabbed off her as she was going forward. You know, it was it doesn't matter in you know, if the judges are doing the job right. So take another fight and then see where it goes. Then I'd get Cyborg over here in Dublin. Be great, wouldn't it? That's what I want. That's the goal. She turned that down last time, and you ended up having to fight her in the States. Am I right? Yeah. My guess, I was talking to Sean Sheehan about it, we were having a chat about it, and I said, you know what, I'd say that's because she probably doesn't want the fucking hassle of having to try to make weight. I'd say it's hard enough for her,
and doing it on foreign soil, just all the complications and travelling and then trying to cut it, I'd say that was probably a big factor.
She was running like literally a few days before the fight, like running in a sweatsuit out in the ground, like around the block, like So
yeah, she's a big girl for the weight class, like.
Yeah.
Be great here though to get that fight here, wouldn't it? September, lift the roof off.
Yeah.
I don't know why they wouldn't want that. Like it's Patricky, for example, after he fought here, he was thanking me. Thank you for this wonderful. Like they're dying to fight here.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. It's like that'll be a high point of someone's career, fighting in front of
an atmosphere like
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, against the home. It's brilliant fighting. It's like fighting against the home.
She was calling out Leah to fight here, like like, but fight me then, like you know, man.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a whopper one. Having that regular now February, September schedule year in, year out for you guys who are signed with the promotion, that must be nice to just know that, look, you have a little bit of structure for your year. Those fights will be there. I can go on those cards if I want. Maybe I'll have a fight somewhere else, but I have those and I can sort of plan my year around that. That must be nice, because that's going on a regular thing now for the last few years, isn't it?
Yeah, it is nice, especially the September one. I love that date. The February one, I would personally prefer if it was
another month.
Get
over Christmas a bit better.
That, but it's a bit too soon for me, and it's cold as fuck as well. I hate training in the cold. Where September's nice, you're training during the summer. So I would love if it was like May and September or something.
Like this water alone, like I'm already in the back of my head thinking, oh, it's freezing.
I know, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're cutting away, you've no body fat to keep you warm or whatever. You know, you're missing that layer. But that's like for 90% of MMA fighters, it's like that. You're in that constant realm of uncertainty. You bump into guys at the weekend at a jiu-jitsu tournament. Any fights lined up? Well, I might have this, I might have that. But when you have a sort of a season, a regular season, that's what it sort of is for you guys when you're contracted with them.
You have them, and then you might do one in the US or something in the summer.
Yeah.
So it's nice. It's perfect. And 3 fights is more than enough for me at this stage of my career. That's all I want. I don't want to do 4 and 5 or whatever it is.
I didn't get that luxury in a while because I'd only had one fight last year, and the year before I only had one fight. I think the year before I had one fight, because of the COVID, then my injury. So and then I haven't fought in Dublin for a while, and then they put me on the cards, and then so this is the second one now in a while.
Okay, lovely. Yeah, it's busy.
So I'm looking to get 3 fights this year.
Yeah, stay
Definitely.
busy. Yeah. Get them all after such a long time off. I suppose it's you'd be eager to just rack them up a little bit.
Yeah.
The stage you guys are at in your careers, what age are you now?
I'm going to be 38 next week.
38? Good man, you're catching up with me.
I was 47 a few days ago.
You look fresh though, Sinead. We're fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so I was going to say, the stages are at your career. You're not at that sort of finding your way through the rankings, or, you're at a stage now where you're up there now. And it's basically, let's try and grab what I can grab here. Let's try and get this fight and that fight and that fight before the clock runs out. You're at that point. Do you think about that? When's that next step going to happen? That wind down or that walk away from it? Do you think about that, or do you just like, no, fuck it, I'll deal with that when it happens, and I'll just try and stay in this competition killer mode mindset at the moment?
I have thought about it, as in like I don't want it to happen.
We were saying earlier, like, what will you do? You just miss it, like it's
like with tears in my eyes, thinking one day I'll have to like hang the gloves up. Like, I do not want it. I'd had problems with my hands. I fought through it. Problems everywhere, like crack, fucking, So I don't want it, and it's going to be a sad day for me anyway. When I give it up. Because I've done it for so long and so many years of just like focusing on a dream, like, and that dream is not completed until I have what I want, like that title.
So it's just grab every opportunity, seize it all right now, and just keep going till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, and I'm getting better, like, as well. Yeah. So, stick my leg on a bit of tape and stuff, That's about what.
You'd be like Charlie Ward now in about 5 years, just still in there, twice a year in that cage. No hassle.
That's in my head. Like, why not? Why can't I not go to 42? What's it? Romero was 45.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. If you still have the will.
I'd love. I think that's a real. What's the word I'm looking for? A really kind of badge of honor.
Yeah.
If you're fighting into your 40s, I would love this to be still
Yeah.
fighting at a high level.
It takes an extra resilient motherfucker
Yes, exactly.
to last that pace
This
and
is
still be
kind of
there.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
a dream of mine actually to fight well into my 40s.
And still be able to
And
dish
still
out
be
a few
good,
lessons.
Not kind of showing up.
Not
you know what I
going
mean?
in there full Frankie Edgar and just
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
knocked out
yeah,
every
yeah.
single
Yeah,
time in the first
exactly,
round.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But I think that's possible for both of us. I actually, what normally starts to fail on you as you get older is your like cardio and your endurance and these things. Mine are actually, I'm
Still
hitting
improving.
PBs actually
Right.
in my things I'm measuring, you know, so I don't see any reason I can't keep going.
deadly. And it's the experiences that, like, they're the things that matter the most, you know. It's like, I heard Tyson Fury saying something recently, and like some of the shit that comes out of his mouth, I don't listen at all, but sometimes he says something that you listen to, and it was like, when it's all is said and done,
You
you
just
know,
get out of the bare bum in the shower. Is
yeah,
that-
there's something along them lines. And he said, all you're left with is moments in time. And that's the most important thing. Like, some of them memories, like in 20, 30 years, Jesus, I did that. But it's pushing to constantly be chasing those experiences is important too, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And he says this is like, it's not the bare bum in the shower.
Yeah.
I like this as well. And that's important too. Don't get too carried away with yourself now, because you
Yeah.
are just another arse in the shower when it's done. Everyone forgets about people pretty
Oh, yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
So you have to
Yeah.
enjoy it now,
Yeah.
and really take advantage of it, and just make the best of it, and take every opportunity you can. Say no to nothing. Say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And just do your best.
Deadly. Right, well, we're going to leave it at that. We're going to end it on a high note. Really good chat. Really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And we'll be back with a few more episodes of this show. We've got plenty of big professional ranking cards coming up in the Irish mixed martial arts scene over 2023. Hope you've enjoyed the first episode. Like, subscribe, share. Sinead Kavanagh, Peter Queally, I'm Paul Brown. Have a good one. Take care.